Pampas and Selene takes us back to the MSX for a fantastic Metroidvania if you're looking for some pixel precision platforming. The game has all the ingredients for a fantastic modern retro title. It's developed by the creator of Unepic and Unmetal, and has music done by Greasor87. Our story is that evil has once again taken root in a castle in Greece, and it's up to the heroic team of Pampas and Selene to brave the castle, find MacGuffins, defeat the evil, and save the day. Our gameplay here should be reminiscent or familiar to anyone who has played a 2D Metroidvania in the past 30 years. You'll be exploring the castle looking for various upgrades, with your progression kind of tied to completing quests by the various Greek gods. The gods will bestow upon you various upgrades, including making your weapons do more damage, improving their functionality, and finding a myriad of passive items for Pampas, Selene, and a combination of the two that you can make use of. This is again one of those games where there will be secrets on top of secrets on top of lots of other secrets to find. Now, the gameplay or the general combat is going to be again classic 2D platforming The gameplay here is going to be classic 2D platformer with action. Pampas and Selene both have different attacks. Pampas has his sword and arrows, Selene has her magic staff and her magic spells. Enemies can be kind of stun-locked to some extent when you hit them fast enough, but this is going to be a game that's going to be about you trying to avoid them and get those hits in whenever possible. And the platforming certainly becomes challenging as you go further in. The level design is set up that there's varying biomes throughout the castle, complete with their own enemies and obstacles to avoid. There are a lot of point of no returns set up in this game, and it's very easy to go up the wrong ladder, go into the wrong room, and find that you're now stuck in this area, you need to go around the other way. The game does introduce not one, but multiple forms of fast traveling around, and while this does help, I would have liked, I think, a little bit more connected to, And while this does help, I would have liked more connectivity between your different fast travel methods. So as an example, there are various cave doors, or kind of tunnels in the castle that allow you to fast travel between them all in a single section, but they do not connect to any other area. This can make things a little bit frustrating where there may be only 2 cave connectors, but they're set up so far away from your other fast travel that you're still going to do major backtracking. Now, this is a game where enemies will respawn over time, especially if you move from one biome to another. This is important because you are going to need the gold from pickups in order to afford the various items at shops. This game definitely relies a lot on quality of life improvements to the various items. Stuff that will make you go faster, improve your damage, give you again more fast travel and more means of survival. Surprisingly, you do not get, or at least I did not find any. I got every item in this game except for 3, but I didn't find anything that made healing easier, besides Selene's kind of regeneration robe. To recover your health, you must either level up, find apples that are randomly put into containers, or go to any of these shops and spend money there on the different items. And this can become a little bit annoying because if either character falls, it is game over. Now, the game does feature online co-op where both characters can be played at the same time or in the same room. We did not get a chance to try that here. In single player, you are free to swap between either character whenever you see fit. And there are some sections that are clearly designed to favor one over the other, and you can do some very kooky things if you're good at character swapping in the middle of jumping. Now, the combat and general play does get progressively harder, and this definitely comes to form when you get to one of the boss fights. The bosses start out quite easy enough, but later bosses can become very punishing in their attack patterns, as well as what you need to fight them. And again, this goes back to what I just said a minute ago, with different areas favoring one character over the other. And one of the most important tips the game gives you that I want to kind of capitalize on here is that you do need to level up both characters. This is not a game where you can just use one character over the other. There are going to be fights and sections where one character is pretty much required for you to stand a chance in, and if their health isn't upgraded, they are going to fall very quickly. Especially at the final boss fight, which is going to be a huge challenge when you first start playing it. And as another tip, do your best to get all the items and complete all the god quests, because some of these encounters and boss fights become very nasty if you don't have access to all the different abilities and all the different upgrades for both characters. And while yes, you can certainly do it, and there's a few bonus achievements for beating bosses the extra hard way, it may be too much for a lot of the people when they first start playing it. Now, with the overall difficulty itself, this can be, I think, one of the issues that Pampas Selene has. That if you're going into this expecting a very easy Metroidvania, or one where you can just kind of power level your way through it, this is not going to be that game. There are some sections that can become painfully difficult due to how the platforming works. This is not a game where you have any semblance of coyote time, where you're able to kind of hit the jump button just as your character leaves a ledge in order to make that leap. You have to make some very precise jumps, and to add even more difficulty to that, you have to make very precise jumps on platforms that are character wide. And there are a few sections near the end of this game that can get very frustrating with this kind of jump tech. Even when you do unlock additional movement options for both characters, there's only one section in particular that I can see a lot of people sending angry comments about on the forums too. But all in all, I think this is another really great game from the developer, with some fantastic designs that, again, harken back to the old school era, but with modern conventions and a kind of iterative approach to it. So if you are a fan of Metroidvanias of any variety and decade, you should definitely check out Pampas Selene. And if you are like new to this, I would also recommend their previous games as well. So with that said, we'll wrap up our review here. This was played with a press key provided by the developer. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me tell you, your game does not have to be Metroidvania close, adjacent, or far away. Please get in touch. And with that said, everyone, thanks for tuning in, and see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you enjoyed the video, do the YouTubing stuff, be sure to visit our Discord and Patreon, and if you're interested in more of my thoughts on design, check out my game design books.